Very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Dugan's Pub for another edition of Tornado Talk. We're here on Monday nights, 29 West French Broad Street in Brevard, North Carolina, where we talk all things Brevard College athletics. Have a exciting show on tap for you tonight. We'll talk to the man on my left, head men's basketball coach Lee Burgess, men's basketball student athletes Gaddafi Turner and Messiah Pankey. We'll hear from head women's basketball coach Donald Hudson, along with two of his student athletes, women's basketball players Krista Davis and Avery Lockwood. We'll talk some football with assistant head coach Eric Gallen, and we will talk women's lacrosse with head coach Kristen Rosado. Want to thank our sponsors, Arby's, Jets Pizza, Holiday Inn Express, Hampton Inn, Ingalls, Mission Sports Medicine, Comporium Pepsi, and the home of Tornado Talk, Dugan's Pub. And do want to get right into some events that are happening this week, and happy to be joined now by head coach Lee Burgess of men's basketball. Coach, we have a doubleheader on tap tomorrow, and a great opportunity for the fans to come out and see both the women's and the men's team. And at the same time, we've got a promotion going on, and it's all, in the memory of Kobe Bryant and also this tragedy that happened and just shook the basketball world yesterday. Certainly a lot of shock and disbelief going on, because of the events yesterday in Southern California. But we're trying to do our small part to, keep the memory alive and pay tribute to one of basketball's greats, Kobe Bryant, with a blackout for the Black Mamba promotion, where the students are encouraged and the fans are encouraged to wear the color black in memory of Kobe Bryant, but also the students will have a chance to black out the gym, which, creates a atmosphere, a home court advantage, and that kind of thing as well. Could you touch on that, Coach, and also, kind of big picture, how the news may have affected you and the team?
Yeah, in basketball, you have your favorites. You've got your players you enjoy watching and you enjoy following, and people you'll try to emulate and things like that. And I think whether that was Kobe for you or not, the impact he had on the game of basketball was just so large that anybody associated with the game of basketball feels what's going on right now, and it's a deep hurt. It is, anytime there's such a tragic loss of life, whether they're an athlete or not, it is sad, and to have it happen to somebody who has had such an impact on a game that I and everybody that is on the team loves so much, it hurts you, it affects you, and I was not personally a huge Kobe Bryant fan where I followed him. I enjoyed watching him play because he's just so good. I wasn't a huge fan, but as somebody who's now a coach and is trying to motivate players and get the best out of them, his work ethic was unbelievable, and something that you can certainly admire and just be in awe of. And while hearing the news yesterday, it hurt me. I think what hurts me more is seeing how it affects my players. I grew up in an era where Michael Jordan was the guy, and when I was growing up and playing basketball, that was the best player, and he had such an impact on people my age. Well, now I'm coaching guys who that was Kobe for them, and LeBron now too. But Kobe was their guy, and just checked in on a few current players, a few past players that I knew loved Kobe. But I think that has the bigger effect on me, is just seeing how it affects them. And it's just sad time. To have that happen, with his daughter and then, 7 other people, it's just really, really sad.
Yeah, certainly a big tragic event, and it's absolutely rocked the sports world, the basketball community, and our hearts go out to all those who are close to the families there and that kind of thing. Meanwhile, basketball at the Bosch tomorrow. Encourage everybody to come on out. Should be a fun night where you get a double header, 2-for-1, women's and men's action. Can you talk about that a little bit? If you can kind of, remove yourself from the coaching side for a second, but just the value for fans to come out and catch both teams.
Yeah, I mean, I think, when we were in our Division II days, every conference game was a doubleheader, and we would get great crowds, and, you could come and check off both boxes in one night, and we still get pretty good crowds. But I know it's more convenient for the fans that want to come. We do a hospitality dinner in between the two games, and that is usually a lot more festive on doubleheader nights as well. We go in there and talk a little bit. When we do that before a single game, there are people in there, they're excited to be there, but it's just different energy when it's a doubleheader and they've just watched the women's game and now they're coming to quickly get something to eat before they head back to watch the men's game. And it's a lot of fun, and hopefully the women will go play well and play hard and get them all, get the fans all excited, and then we'll be able to come follow suit, and we'll be able to get 2 wins tomorrow, hopefully.
Yeah, women versus Covenant, and then the men versus Maryville. It all starts up at 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday at the Boschemore Gymnasium. Now, Coach, coming off a road trip, it's kind of standard across the USA South from, depending on what sport, you coach or you follow, but this Huntington-LaGrange combo, starting with the Huntington game in Montgomery, Alabama on Friday night. 83-81, the Tornadoes come out on top. A big night from Cannon Lamb with 26 points. Levi Lamb adds 14. Joshua Wilson on the defensive end with 4 blocked shots. Gaddafi Turner is going to be a guest on the show a little later with 12 points off the bench. A great team victory for the Tornadoes. What'd you like most about that one, Coach?
A lot. Huntington, it's our farthest trip. It's a good team. They were sitting in second place on our side of the division. It's a program that we had not beaten yet in our USA South time. And so, we really laid it out there. And you highlighted the individual performances that we had, which we definitely needed. Our togetherness as a group was really, really good throughout the game. We had a lead at the half, and we kept the lead pretty well through most of the second half, but then met a little bit of adversity there to wind down the game, and able to stay together and fight through, make some key plays down the stretch. But it was a lot of fun. The locker room was awesome after the game. And I think our guys really felt a sense of accomplishment, which they should. Huntington is a good team. And, just to kind of fast forward, Huntington turned around the next night and beat the league-leading Covenant team on their home floor the next night. I mean, it was a good team that we beat, which was a lot of fun, and thought our guys were really locked in on what we needed to do. And, we certainly didn't play perfect, but we played really well, and we played really together. And when we do that, we can go beat anybody in this league. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and a couple more statistics. These from the team side of things. 15 assists by the Tornadoes. Huntington just had 2. And turnovers. Hawks with 16 turnovers. Tornadoes able to cash in 21 points off turnovers. And finally, 33 points off the bench for the Tornadoes.
Yeah.
Great numbers as far as, sort of the team side of things.
Yeah. You talked about Gaddafi's points, and we needed those off the bench. Hayden gave us a few buckets. Messiah hit a big 3 late in the game to kind of stymie a little bit of a mini run that Huntington was having. So we got great contributions off the bench, great contributions from the starting lineup, and we shared the ball well. I think we had 30 field goals made, I think. So the 15 assists, I want to say, half of our buckets were off of assists. And Huntington's a team that traditionally, and they pressured us some and tried to be really physical with us and take us out of offense, and really challenge the guys to be tough enough to withstand that and stay with what we do. And our guys did really well with it. I was very proud of them after the game Friday.
A quick turnaround before the next game, a trip up the road to LaGrange, Georgia. Result doesn't turn out the way the Tornadoes would have wanted. Hayden Castle with a career-high 16 points off the bench, so another bench player contributing big. positives and negatives from the LaGrange matchup?
Yeah, it was the other side of the coin with the LaGrange game. I mean, it's we go 2 of 22 from the arc as a team in that game. We go 13 of 25 from the free throw line, for the game. I thought our approach was a little bit different, a little bit off. It was not. I know it was not overconfidence or anything like that. But I just did not feel like we were quite as zeroed in as we needed to be. We addressed that during the shoot around, several hours before the game, and I, let them know my thoughts. And I didn't think we were as zeroed in as we needed to be. And LaGrange is it's a good team. They've struggled early, but they're playing better here lately. They had lost a heartbreaker to Covenant the night before. Covenant made a shot with a second left to beat them by 2. And LaGrange played really, really well, so I don't want to take anything away from them. They played really well, and we shot the ball very poorly. But what I challenged our guys with is, when we talk about team togetherness and team chemistry and all that, we don't say together, if things are going well. We don't say family if we're winning. We say together. We say family. And I felt like we had a little splintering going on because we were frustrated with how the game was going, and we'd get a good look and it wouldn't go down. We'd get to the foul line and we'd go 1 for 2 or 0 for 2, and that could wear on you, take its toll on you. But that's not an excuse for us not to continue to try to stay together as a group and stay on the same page. And I thought that mentally, I don't know if we had expended so much mental energy the night before that we just weren't able to rally that up the next day. I don't quite have the answer for that. I don't know. If that's the case, then that's something we've got to get better at. Because if we want to be the kind of program that we all want to be, we've got to be able to bring it on back-to-back nights. That's what this league is about. So, at this point right now, I don't have a lot of positives for you for the LaGrange game other than, Hayden statistically having his career high. But yeah, because so much of it, I see it through the lens of of just kind of the team component. And as a team, I just felt like we were a little bit off, and and sometimes we have been able to not shoot the ball well, have things not go our way, and still stay connected as a group with what we're trying to do. And we've been able to do that in the past, but I didn't think we were great at that on Saturday. So disappointing. Glad we were able to split the weekend. That was just in that little mini tournament there in that weekend. You had us and Covenant playing LaGrange and Huntington on their home floors, and everybody went 1-1. Huntington beat Covenant the next night. Covenant beat LaGrange the night before. LaGrange beat us. So everybody went 1-1 in that little mini tournament right there. And I think that just speaks to the league and the parity. And told our guys, listen, we can show up and we can beat anybody in this league. But when we don't show up, anybody in this league can beat us.
That's right.
And so it's that's just kind of, it is what it is. So we got to be ready to go tomorrow for a good Maryville team who also kind of struggled out of the gate, but is playing very well here lately with a big win over Methodist their last time out. So it'll be a big challenge for us tomorrow that we'll have to go meet.
Yeah, fans hope you can come out tomorrow and see the Tornadoes host Maryville at 7:30. That's after the women's game, which starts at 5:30. And then, Coach, finally a stretch of some home games here, consecutively. This Saturday, the Tornadoes in action versus William Peace. And what I'd like to touch on there is the Jimmy Griffin Legacy Foundation, which this is the game that we annually have here at Brevard College. To support that foundation. I know this is a important cause to you, Coach. If you can kind of educate our audience a bit on Jimmy and that foundation.
Yeah, so Jim Griffin was a player of mine when I was an assistant coach at Sanford University. And, that's been, I don't know, 12 years ago or so now, 10 years ago that this happened. But Jim passed away in his sleep one night. He was a fifth-year senior and was very, very just enmeshed within our team and within the campus community. And it had a very devastating effect on the team and the program and the campus. Everybody felt that. And, super family that he has. And, one of the things that his mother asked of the coaches we would just try to keep his name alive and his legacy going as long as we possibly could. And I think as coaches, we've all kind of gone our ways from Birmingham and Sanford University now, and some still coaching in college, some coaching in high school, but we all try to keep that memory alive in our own way. And what I've tried to do is have a game for JG, a read out in association with the American Heart Association each year. So I'll be able to talk to our team about who Jim Griffin was and what kind of teammate he was, and he was a great teammate. And intangibles off the charts, just in terms of his toughness and his willingness to be a good teammate, and things like that. I'll be able to talk about those characteristics and talk about that with the team, and here's why we do it. And I always, we'll take some pictures of the red shirts and of the press release and all that, and I'll send it to his mom, and I think that means a lot to her as well, that we've continued to do that. And it's just it's important to them that we do it, and since it's important to them, it's important to me, and so we just want to continue to do it like that.
Fantastic. Well, folks, hope you can come on out and see the Tornadoes men's basketball team in action Tuesday night, 7:30 versus Maryville, Saturday, 2 p.m. versus William Peace. Coach, thanks for joining the program.
Absolutely.
As always.
Thanks for
see
having
you tomorrow night at the Bosch.
Okay.
All right, that was head coach Lee Burgess as the men's basketball team prepares for Maryville on Tuesday night, and we'll bring in a couple of those men's basketball student athletes. Got a couple of backcourt mates rolling through here at Dugan's Pub to the coach's corner. As we're happy to be joined now by number 25, Messiah Pankey, sophomore guard out of Durham, North Carolina, and number 3, Gaddafi Turner, senior guard out of Wilmington.
How you doing?
Gentlemen, thanks for joining the program. Good
What's
to
up,
have you
Phil?
here.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Well, fellas, broke it down a little bit with Coach, but that was a big win on Friday night at Huntington.
Yeah.
Can I hear from each of you guys as far as, how you guys felt as a team and how everything sort of clicked for you?
Well, as a team, I felt like we really came together. And like Coach said, like it was just a few minutes ago, I feel like we could beat anybody in this league as long as we're together and everybody's on the right page, everybody's clicking, and we just happened to do that against Huntington. And as a result, we got a really good win out of it.
Going off of Messiah, we haven't beat them yet, so we were really locked in and focused, and we really want to get that win. Going there and playing against them, they're like a physical team. We knew that going in. We knew we had to battle, and we fought from the beginning to the very end, and we got the W.
Yeah, and Gaddafi, a big part of that, 12 points off the bench. What I kind of noticed about the Tornadoes is a lot of times it doesn't really matter whether you're a starter or a bench player. It's sort of a fluid type thing. Do you guys have that mentality, whether you're in the starting lineup or if you're coming off the bench, that, hey, it's just time to get in the moment and play the best you can?
Yeah, I think I can speak for me and Q when we both say, like, it doesn't matter if we start, if we come off the bench. When we go into the game, we're going to give 110%. We're going to do whatever the team needs. And yeah, that's basically our mentality, just to give 110% no matter what.
Basically, yes, sir. That's off Messiah said. That's really what we do. Guys come off the bench, be ready when your number is called, and give your all. You feel me? If you can't, you don't need to play.
All right, the other number I want to talk about from that Huntington game is 15 assists. Huntington only had 2 of them, so I'm not sure. I haven't broken down the film on this game, so I don't know exactly what they were up to offensively, but I do know what you guys had to be up to, which was a lot of great ball movement. Can you talk about when that number of assists turns up on the stat sheet, how you guys as guards and distributors know that you did your job right?
It really feels good to move the ball around because we have a lot of weapons on this team. We have a lot of guys that can score. And as guards, I feel like it's our responsibility to get those guys their shots, like Levi, Damari, and we can score as well. So when we get the ball moving and everybody's getting their shots and everybody's making, it's hard to stop us.
Yeah, it just looked real good, finding guys wide open in the basket. They had some mixed lapses in their defensive scheme, whatever. So me and Messiah were finding guys left and right, wide open for buckets, and we were moving the ball around, and it just looked real good. We were playing great as a team.
Now, you guys capitalized off of a number of Huntington turnovers as well, and what I've noticed about each of your game is you guys can push it in transition pretty good, especially off those turnovers. Can you talk about that in your role in leading a fast break?
Well, in my eyes, leading the fast break, I really like to do that. Back in high school, my coach always told me to keep my head up, and that's what we've been doing. You know what I'm saying? Make the right pass, and that's how we pretty much run the fast break.
Yeah, so, for me, when I'm running the break and I got the ball, I'm looking left and right. If I got guys left and right, and they're in front of me, passing the ball. If the guy who's guarding don't stop the ball, I'm going all the way to the cup, and I'm getting the buck. That's what it is.
Hey, the fans love it when the tempo is being pushed like that, and you guys are pushing the action and keeping the tempo up. Well, you guys have had a lot of road games to, start this season and start USA South Conference play. Finally get home, and get to settle into the home court at the Boschberg Gymnasium. How important is that for you all to have the home crowd behind you?
It definitely feels good, to be in our gym. Gym is normally open throughout the day, so we get up shots, and it just feels good to get back to a routine like the home routine and playing in front of our fans, in front of the family, our classmates, and it just feels better like being at home.
Yeah, it really does. It really does feel great playing in the Bosch. The home, the court. All the fans come out and they show us great love. Win or losing, the fans stay there, support us. So it really is a great feeling being home, and our fans are great. I love them.
All right, well, I want to get sentimental for a minute here because this guy, Q, it's his senior year. We're coming down the home stretch here. I'm starting to look at the schedule and say, wait a second, there's only so many more opportunities to see these guys. And I see Messiah nodding his head. I want to start with you, as far as what this guy has meant to you as a senior and as a leader and someone who's, maybe helped you out in a lot of ways.
Well, Q is an inspiration to me, man. Like, I love the way he plays. Like you said, when he comes off the bench, whether he's starting, he's a dog. Like, and he can affect the game in so many more ways than just scoring. He can find guys. He can play D. He'll rebound. He'll do whatever you need him to do, and that's what inspires me most about Q. Like, he is a dog, like, no matter what, and I really love that about him.
And Q, as the senior coming down the home stretch here, I know you still got plenty of games to play and a lot of work to do and a lot to accomplish, but if you can kind of take a step back and sort of like think about, what the whole experience has been like and, how, meaningful it is, for you to be able to finish off your senior year here as a Tornado.
It really means a lot, starting here, being here with these guys has helped my game a lot, growing since a freshman here to a senior here now with the leadership I have and the role that I have on this team. It's been really great, I'm just sad that it's going to be done. I've loved every moment of, the sprints, the two-day practices, the weight sessions, and all that stuff has been great, and I loved it all. I'm going to miss it.
Awesome. Well, tomorrow a matchup against Maryville, and a chance for you guys to get right back on track against another USA South Conference team. What has Coach told you thus far as what you guys need to do to get the W?
Be together, make sure we focus on the scout, make sure we carry out the scout, make sure we just stay together as a team and give our best effort,
Yeah, Maryville's another team that's going to, brute and bang it in, going to get post, paint, looks and stuff like that, layups and stuff like that. So if we just guard our man, stay, and stuff like that, the game plan is going to work. LB, he gave us a game plan and stuff to do. All we got to do is go out there, execute, and get the W.
Very good. Well, we'll be there watching every step of the way and look forward to seeing you guys accomplish exactly that, a W over Maryville. Guys, thanks for joining the program. Great job on Tornado Talk, and we'll see you at the Bosch tomorrow night.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for having us.
All right, Messiah Pankey and Gaddafi Turner, two of those guards for the Brevard College Tornadoes men's basketball team. Great to have them on the program after a big weekend win over Huntington. And we'll shift gears to what's going to be the first half of that doubleheader tomorrow. Women's basketball will be in action versus Covenant, and then the men's team versus Maryville tomorrow at the Boschmer Gymnasium. It all starts at 5:30 p.m. And Joined now by head women's basketball coach Donald Hudson. Coach,
What's up?
thanks for joining the program.
Thanks for having me, Phil. Always good to be a part of the program.
Well,
Thanks.
Coach, I hate to have to start the show on such a somber note, and I see you wearing the shirt honoring the Black Mamba, Kobe Bryant. Just absolutely devastating, shocking news yesterday. Can you tell a little bit from your perspective, as someone who has played the game of basketball, now coaches the game of basketball, grew up in the same generation, probably watching a player like Kobe Bryant, how this news, if you can sum it up, has affected you?
Yeah, it's been tough. It's been a tough 24 hours. It's something that's going to take a while to kind of digest and move on from. He came in 96. I was 8 years old and just immediately gravitated towards it. And that's been all I've known, basketball-wise. Anything NBA with me, anybody that knows me, they will tell you it's Kobe, it's Kobe, it's Kobe, it's the Lakers. And it's been tough. I got the news yesterday like everybody else didn't believe it. And then the confirmation and everything starts to come in, and you start to think about the families involved, Hit's family and the other 7 families that were involved and everything. And it's the life that he had planned after basketball, his little girl coming up playing basketball and everything. And it's been a tough 24 hours for everyone to digest. Anybody that has a competitive bone and plays any sports competitively, you've benefited from something at some point from him. Whether it be getting inspiration from watching him play, one of his quotes, maybe a book or something. Just the drive that he had. That drive and that fire, is just, it was unmatched. And I drew a ton of inspiration from him. It was on and off the basketball court, and he left us mark. He left us mark. 41 years. Wish it would have been 41 more, but those 41 were well worth it.
Yeah, our thoughts and prayers with all those family members who are really close to them. It's just a tragic bit of news. Can we take it this direction then, Coach? You're the head women's basketball coach here at Brevard College. You've got a group of young ladies, who are looking for you to, get direction on how to conduct their business.
Absolutely.
Coming off that kind of news, and I know it's affecting them too. They're watching the news, and some of them, saw Bryant play and realize how big of a deal this is. How do you sort of put those pieces together?
I talk to the team we always break our huddles, and I let everybody in the group know how much I appreciate them and how much I love them. Because you just never know when something like this will occur. And hopefully this is something that brings the group together, that you understand that this could be the last. You just never know when the last time you'll see someone, and hopefully everybody can rally around this. I haven't been myself most of the day, and my focus, I've tried to kind of shake it and focus in on things that need to be done, but it's been hard. It's been tough. It's been tough to think about anything else. Practice this morning, I was in and out of it. I'll be honest with you. I was in and out. I was there physically, but I was kind of in and out of it mentally. I thought we had a good practice, though. And hopefully this is something that not just my team, just everybody worldwide can rally around and just tell everyone how you feel about them. If you have any silly little beefs, anything going on, just try to get past it and squash it. Life is short. Enjoy it. And it sucks that it takes something like this to kind of put everything in perspective, because I was down on everything about the last few losses that we had. That's nothing compared to what just happened. It just puts everything in perspective for you. Definitely somebody that I'm going to miss. When he retired from the game, I definitely missed watching him play. Then he kind of moved on to the storytelling and the ESPN Plus, the show detail. And I caught every episode. That's just all that I've known since I was 8 or 9 years old. And it's going to be a tough one to move on from.
Yeah.
I feel like I lost a family member. I really felt like that with him. I didn't know him anything like that. But it's just speaks volume to the people that he reached.
Yep. Well, Coach, I
prayers
really
and condolences to those families.
Yeah, and thanks, Coach, and I really appreciate you sharing that with us and with the audience. And it tells us even a little more about you and kind of your inspirations and how you've become who you are as a coach.
Yes, sir.
Now tomorrow, and happy to report that the Brevard College Department of Athletics is paying tribute to Kobe tomorrow night. A Blackout for Black Mamba promotion where students will have the opportunity to get a free black Brevard College T-shirt, and we're going to black out that gymnasium. There'll be appropriate moment of silence before the games as well, and hopefully will serve as further motivation for the Brevard College Tornadoes women's basketball team to take care of business versus Covenant. Can you talk about that matchup, Tornadoes versus Covenant tomorrow night?
It's a team that they're kind of struggling to find their way right now. They play a ton of freshmen. They play hard. They play together. They average 14 or 15 assists. And that right there, if you're looking at it from a defensive standpoint, that lets us know that we've got to be on our rotations. You know, we can't just lock in on one or two people. The ball is going to move. It's a team. If you average that many assists, that means you're moving the ball. You have good player movement, probably setting a ton of screens, and even getting out in transition some. You know, so defensively, we've got to be on it. We've got to be on it. We talked about the things that they'll do to us today. We talked about it this morning in practice, watched our film. We'll watch a little bit tomorrow after our pregame meal, and we'll be ready for them. It's a team that we have not beat since I've been the head coach of this team. We've been close with them at their place, and here we haven't gotten over that hump against this team, and I look forward to watching my group go out and compete tomorrow.
Do want to mention the weekend, you know, and a tough loss. I mean, just one of those. I could see the team, you know, having trouble kind of shaking that one off. 53-51 defeat to Huntington at the Bosch. Back and forth affair, a couple chances at the end for the Tornadoes to either tie or win the game. Big day once again for Taisha Washington, who's just been lighting things up since returning. But, you know, one of these games that, you know, I felt like you could have flipped a coin and, you know, see which way it turns, and that's the winner. And Tornadoes come off on the losing end, unfortunately. Can you talk about that game and maybe what you liked most about it?
Yeah, we've had a few like that. Our last few have come down to one or two plays that go our way, and we're celebrating as opposed to feeling that depressed feeling in the locker room after the game. But another game where we came out and we executed what we talked about from a defensive standpoint. We did a decent job of defending them. In the fourth quarter, we put them on the free throw line 10 times. So you can't do that. Like you saw the game, they were struggling to score. They were struggling to score. We were doing a decent job of containing the dribble penetration. It's a team that loves to do things 15 and in. Don't particularly shoot the three ball well. They were 3 of 17 from three. But late in that game, we got a little loose on one or two of their players, and they knocked down some shots. But it was a game where at 5 minutes, 4:23 left, there were 4 points scored the rest of the way in the entire game. Yep. You know, in a game like that, you got to value everything. Every possession matters. Every rebound, every missed rotation hurts a little bit more. And then when you walk them to the free throw line, and your offense is kind of bogged down, and that was kind of our undoing. We put them on the line, and some inopportune turnovers kind of came and bit us late. But another game will feel like it would have been good to win that game, Phil. But I was proud of my team, man. Another one where they came out and I see the effort, I see the fire that we need to be playing with every game, and it burns and it hurts, you know. And I hurt for them. I hurt for them to go out there and continuously put their all in it and still not reaping the rewards of it. But I tell you what, that next day, that Sunday, I was still a little bit down about it, and just walking in and seeing my team just being back upbeat and back on that level kind of brought me back up a little bit. I don't take losses very well, and usually I can move on from them, but this one kind of stung a little bit. It stung a little bit, and it stung into the next morning, and they did a really good job of picking me up. You know, it's a team effort. You know, I don't always do all the picking up. They pick me up at times, and I appreciate that.
That's great to hear. And the defensive effort, I mean, to hold Huntington to 53 points, you know, by any metric is a success.
Absolutely. And it's been there. Like, that defense has been there as of late, but our issues have been on the offensive end. We can't continuously put together great offensive possessions, you know, whether it be a bad shot, a bad pass, or a turnover or something. It's something that's always there that's hindering us from taking that next step to being able to finish those close games, you know. But this experience that we're getting in that department, it's invaluable. It's invaluable. It's something that you have to go through to understand. You know, I can be told what to do in this situation. I can tell the team what to do in this situation. But until we all go through it together, you know, now we kind of figure out, okay, now this works better in this situation. Now, and we've been through those. You know, now it's time to start getting over the hump. And we have 7 more, I believe, and that's 7 more opportunities to go get a win. And with the way we're playing right now, I feel like we can walk into anybody's gym and get a win.
Yep, and it all starts tomorrow night in our own gym at the
Absolutely.
Boschmer Gymnasium versus Maryville. Then a trip this weekend to LaGrange on Saturday. Coach, look forward to talking now to a couple of your student athletes, but thanks for joining the show.
Thank
As
you.
always, we'll see you tomorrow night
Yes,
at the
sir.
Boschmer Gymnasium.
I appreciate you, Phil.
All right, that was head coach Donald Hudson previewing that women's basketball game on Tuesday versus Covenant. That's a 5:30 tip-off at the Bosch, part of a women's-men's doubleheader. You can get 2 for 1 as a fan and enjoy both the women's and the men's team. Women's game starts at 5:30. It's the Blackout for Black Mamba promotion. It's also Special Olympics night at the Boschmer Gymnasium, so some great programs there. As happy to be joined now by these two, Avery Lockwood and Krista Davis, two of those women's basketball student athletes. Welcome back to the show, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Well, it hasn't happened as much lately, but early in the season, and I asked one of your teammates earlier today if it was just me coming up with this nickname or if there actually, others were calling you all that too, but the Twin Towers. And the idea was the two of you were both in the game at the same time at certain points, almost making it impossible for the other team to get a rebound off the glass, to make things happen down low. Can you reflect back how that happened early in the season and, kind of the dynamic you thought you might have brought, when you both were in there at the same time?
I think it happened probably a little bit last year. I think there was one game that me and her went in at the same time just to get the rebounding edge a little higher. And I think Coach really liked that idea, and so he put it in for the first half of the season. And I think it does. I think it tightens up our defense a little bit. Since Krista is a better defender than I am, she plays out more on the wing than I do. But we both can get the rebound. We both box out well, and that since we're tall, we can block shots a lot more. But it helps on the offense and the defensive end with rebounding.
Yeah. And on the offensive end, we do a lot of high-low action. So, if I get in the high-low, I'm looking in for Avery and vice versa, and I think that works really well for us.
One thing I noticed both of you can do very effectively is pass from the low post and, find that open shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about that in developing that skill as a front court player, the passing skill?
It's definitely it's one of those things that you just have to look for the next person, because there are times where they double team you on the post and that you have in the opposite corner and you'll have someone open, and those are high percentage shots, and we're looking to gain more points quickly, so we'll go to the opposite side for the 3-point. Or if we see one of our teammates diving and they have a wide open lane, then we'll just pass it off to them. So it's a good thing to see.
Yeah, and if it's like single coverage, Coach wants us to have that one-on-one, try to score it. But like Avery said, when they double down on us, it's always that one more pass that's more high percentage.
Okay, for us basketball junkies, or you guys are teaching us all this X's and O's. Let's talk about the high-low game a little bit and the pick and roll. And again, as whether you're playing the 4 or the 5, your role in that. Can you kind of break that down, how that transpires?
It helps with bringing, with a pick and roll, it helps with bringing the defensive post up and allowing for backdoor cuts and to have our guard that has the ball to attack the hip of the defensive post, which can draw a foul. But with the pick and roll, when you seal the guard, you have we call it mouse in the house, where you have a little on a big. And it makes it easier for us posts to score because we're on the move and we're going towards the basket and all that stuff. So.
Well, I feel like we've educated our audience in areas of basketball they probably never even think about. But thank you for doing that. Now, I feel like the Tornadoes are pretty close to full strength at the moment because 2 players came back recently, from injuries that sidelined them at the beginning of the year. Destiny Williams and then Taisha Washington. Taisha has just been, on fire since her return very quickly. Can you guys talk about the return of those two players and how that's given you all a boost?
It's definitely helped us a lot. Like, Shay is our dominant point guard who can pretty much do it all. She can score it. She can set up our plays. And Destiny is more of our defensive player and offensive, so they do it on both ends. And we needed that energy and that boost from the two, and it helped us out a lot.
They also bring a lot of spirit to the team. When Shay's on fire, she's going at it. She's hooping and hollering, and she just brings our energy up, and it helps us come together as a team and work together a lot better. And Destiny is so athletic that she just helps out a whole lot on the defensive end, and it makes a lot of our jobs a lot easier.
Well, Chris, I had Gaddafi Q. Turner on the show earlier, who, just like yourself, is a senior. He's at the men's basketball team. And so my question for him was, hey, you know, whether you've sat back and thought about it or not, the reality is we're coming down the home stretch here, you know, in terms of your college careers and as senior student athletes. Have you had a moment to kind of step back and say, wow, you know,
Definitely.
it's senior year and this is my last chance to really get it done?
Yeah, my dad just called me the other day and was like, it's going by so quick. Like, I just remember graduating from high school, and now I'm like already a senior in college. It blink of an eye, it all changed. But I'm excited for what the real world's going to bring me.
And Avery, as an underclassman who has benefited from upperclassmen like Krista Davis, can you talk about Krista and, you know, how important she's been in your development and your, you know, transition to college athletics?
She's been super helpful. In high school, I was really the only big that my high school team had, and so I was working by myself on a lot of post stuff. So it's been very nice to work with another post and learn how to defend a post better and all the moves. And she's been great. Competition during practice, and she helps me a lot. She's gotten me to be a little more confident and do moves that I'm not used to, so it's been nice.
And
I'd imagine vice versa for you, Krista, as far as Avery pushing you in practice?
Yeah, I know. Me and Avery are always, like, giving each other, like, we're always pushing around in practice. It, like, we're helping each other out, though, making each other better for real game.
We're the ones that get tired first. We're always pushing on each other.
Well, let's get to the business at hand, which is tomorrow's game, 5:30 p.m. tip-off versus Maryville.
Yes.
What has Coach told you as far as the keys on as far as this getting this W against Covenant? Yeah, I don't want to. I'll really throw a wrench in your game plan if you're preparing for Maryville, who the men are playing, Covenant.
Well, we went over, scout earlier. We still have some working to do tomorrow, but I think we're pretty prepared for it as far as scout, and we'll get to know personnel as tomorrow comes.
I think we're good on the defensive end. I think on offense, we're just going to have to focus on making our shots and finding the open man and just really working together on offense. But defense, I think we got it. I think we can lock down and keep them from scoring a whole lot. Very
good. Well, we'll be there following every step of the way. Look forward to seeing you ladies in action tomorrow night at the Boschmer Gymnasium, part of the women's men's doubleheader, so should have a great crowd on hand. Ladies, great job on Tornado Talk as always, and we will see you at the Bosch tomorrow night. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you for having us.
All right, that was Avery Lockwood and Krista Davis, two of those women's basketball student athletes who you'll see in action tomorrow night. That's Tuesday night at the Boschmer Gymnasium. Men's game at 7:30, women's game at 5:30. Hope you can join us for that one. And as tonight's edition of Tornado Talk rolls on, glad to be joined now by a football assistant head coach and running backs coach, Eric Gallen. Coach, thanks for joining the show.
Hey, not a problem. Thank you for having me.
Well, Coach, I do want to start with the success that the Tornadoes had this past season, and from this perspective, how it has springboarded you all into this offseason and preparations for fall of 2020. When you come off a year that successful, best in program history, a bowl win, all sorts of records and accolades, how much does that help you guys prepare for the following year, from a recruiting standpoint and also just from a energy standpoint as far as the team goes?
Well, right now we can see that there's a difference with some of the players on the team, and it does, with the current players, help us get them to continue to work hard during the off season, not only in the classroom but on the football field as well, and taking some things on their own and doing things on their own and watching film and working out hard in the weight room and doing some extra work on the field as well whenever they can based on their schedule. As far as helping us in recruiting, it does a tremendous job. People do notice when you win and you have a little bit of success, they want to be a part of it and have something to do with it, and it helps us. It makes the job a little easier to recruit kids, as well as, looking at some future kids to actually recruit in 21 class. 20 class is here and is right around the corner with signing day, and we have some pretty good selection of kids that we have. One of the things that we do pride ourselves on is trying to do the right thing with our players and try to treat them, correctly, and making sure that they feel special and feel part of this program, which now we have about 91 returning players here in the spring.
Fantastic.
Which 2 years ago we probably had 17 in the spring. So that helps. So when we talk about that in terms of numbers, now we look at we're being selective about what type of players we want to bring into this program and in this culture, in this environment, and it helps. So we don't have to go out and just say, hey, we want to recruit this particular kid or we want to recruit that kid. We now, recruit kids based on skill set along with having the ability educationally to come in and do what they need to do in the classroom as well.
Yeah, and you touched on it a little bit, and I'd imagine just the name recognition alone from the success has got to be night and day compared to this time last year because of the the bowl win and the some media coverage and that kind of thing. Hey, we're a small school of 700 students nestled in the western North Carolina mountains, who folks might get confused with Brevard, Florida when they hear the name Brevard. But when you have success and you're able to tell that story, suddenly people know who you are. Hey.
Yeah, that does help out a lot. I still get it confused sometimes with Brevard, Florida,
Right.
only because I have a Florida number. And when I recall and recruit kids, the first thing they start thinking is this Brevard in Florida? I'm like, no, there's no way we're in Florida.
Right.
So it is kind of a little bit whimsical when it comes to something like that. But I would say it does help a lot. Especially with being an 8-2 record and then going to a bowl game. We were blessed to go to it, and we thank God for the opportunity to actually play in it and then be selected to play in it because we didn't have to be selected. It was a committee that selected us, so it wasn't like they were saying, "Hey, okay, Brevard College did this and did that," and then they noticed that hey, we did some good things this year.
Yeah, and the part of the story I perhaps appreciated the most was the unknown of Brevard College defeating this brand name in Carnegie Mellon, whether it's, famous for their academics or their nearly 100 years of football. Just a cool story there to do it on their home field as well.
It was a pretty cool story. If you look at the history, Carnegie Mellon, number one, number two, the history of versus the history of Brevard, the number of students that they have at that school, which we looked at was in the thousands, like multiple thousands, and then looking at the endowment. The endowment, they have a $2 billion endowment at that school, and here we are still in the maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 digits, at Brevard. So I would think that bodes well for us here at the school, and it does something for the community. Because when you have a football program, the football program isn't the only one that benefits from it. It's the community, it's the school, it's the stakeholders, it's everyone, and we're just part of it, and it's something that we want to do. It's something that we want to be a part of, and want this community to be a part of. So hopefully everybody's in acceptance of it and seeing that hey, we're trying to do things the right way, and do things in a manner that make everyone proud, along with our board members.
Yeah, you mentioned the energy that it provided, your current players and working in the weight room and that kind of thing. I can tell you as someone who works with all the sports across the Department of Athletics sees all sorts of people around campus. It's energized the whole campus. So hats off to you guys for that. Now, Coach, you wear a lot of hats. But a segue to my next question. Director of Player Development, Director of Football Operations. You head up the mentoring program for the team. And then, of course, as far as the on-the-field running backs coach and developing that unit in specific, assistant head coach, the title, working alongside head coach Bill Kyatt. Can you talk about those different roles and your responsibilities?
Each one of those roles specifically.
Well,
I mean, it's
just
a lot.
Touch on them.
I'll touch on it, but basically some of it is it's not like I don't want all the accolades from it. I don't want the kudos from it. I just look at it as part of what we should do as a football coach. Director of player development is simply making sure that we're developing players in the way they should go, and how they should do things, and how things should correspond in their life if they're doing things the right way, making sure their family dynamics are there, and if there are issues, how do we handle them, because not every kid can be addressed the same exact way. Everybody's different, everybody's special, everybody's unique in their own way. And when it's time to address issues or needs or concerns, we try to do so. And we try to target some of those things by, we have what we call a questionnaire that we like to give these kids. And we try to figure out some things. It's a very simple process, a very initial one. And then the second one is something that's a little bit more intense that we want to try to gain some insight on and ascertain some information that you may not ever get through the recruiting process or from them as a individual as a whole, and then it's something that we can probably get to help them. The football operations, that's just handling all of the day-to-day travel and games and scheduling and inter-office memorandums and reports and it's just
details.
A ton of things. It is a lot, and I don't want to go all into detail of it, but it's a lot of work that comes into play with it, especially when you're trying to schedule 48 hotels and hotel rooms and different things from different places where you're going to be and who's assigned where and who's on what bus list and who's traveling, who isn't. You got to send a report to this particular person over here in the dining hall. You got to send a report to compliance. You got to send someone this. I mean, it's just always something ongoing with that. And even when there's a change of status or something happening with a player internally, you got to send it out, make sure that paperwork and information is shared with everybody. Because it's not just what you say. People just look at it as just say football operations. Oh, you're just handling football operations. No, you got to handle bus schedules. You got to handle bus drivers. You got to handle different venues where you go and eat or where you plan. All of those different things. And then the assistant head coach role. That's a role in itself. And then handling all the things that the assistant head, that the head coach wants to give to the assistant head coach. Well, it depends on how much he trusts them and how much they don't trust them. And a lot of it's based on whether you can do the job or you can't. And I understand what the whole role means, and it is my job to make sure that the head coach is buffered from a lot of things and he's not bombarded, because he has work to do himself and a lot of things that he needs to worry about doing and staying on top of, and not having to look at some things which he still has to know about the little things that fall to the wayside or may fall to the wayside, and so that he's abreast of them and aware of them. And then coaching running backs. I tell everybody think that running backs are like turnkey. You just insert a guy and they'll go and do whatever. And it's a lot more to it than that. It's a lot of work to it, especially when you have a group of guys like I had this past year. There were some really good guys, and they did a really good job, and they worked really hard. And it's not just the running backs, it's the H-backs. I have H-backs guys who are very much more intricate in the whole entire offensive scheme than just what you say, per se, the Rouse, the Bennett's, the Turners, the Taylors, the Hines, the Yoders, the Morrises, the Catons. And I have Lowry, I got Wilkinson, I work with, Curtis and O'Leary. I mean, and Revelar. There's a lot of other people that you work with that people don't see on a day-to-day basis, because you're trying to get everybody on the same page. But, it's a lot of work.
One X's and O's question when it comes to the running back position. When you have a stable of running backs like that, How do you determine who's the hot hand, who gets the playing time?
Well, a lot of it's determined during practice. You know, you win the day in practice. You don't win the day on game day. And I do a lot of coaching during the weekday. Seldom on game day am I coaching. I'm really just making sure that we're on the same page, we're guiding them, and we're doing things that are necessary to make each particular play better and to motivate them and continue to, you know, push them and make them better. But a lot of that's done during the week because it's different type of schemes that we run, different type of plays that we run. When you have running backs with a skill set as such as these guys that is very vast and is various one to the next, you find out who does what well. And when you scheme up for a team, you know that, okay, this particular kid, he runs outside runs better. He has a little bit better vision. He can see those things outside better. This particular kid, I like him when he runs downhill in power. Or I like this kid when he runs inside zone because I know he has the hips and the skill set and the peripheral vision to hit a cutback or something like that. So it's kind of a mix of all that. And then when we get in a game situation and someone gets hot, like you're saying, if I find that person can do it all, then they're going to do it. And I'm going to keep them in as long as I can, you know, withstand to say, hey, okay, they're still in, they're doing their job until I think they're maybe fatigued or something like that.
Right.
Or maybe a blow to give them a fresh leg and then hit them with a 1-2 punch and then we can keep going.
Last thing, Coach, you mentioned signing day right around the corner. What kind of student athlete are you and the Brevard College football coaching staff looking for? And for those who may be on the fence out there and perhaps they're watching this program, why should they come here to Brevard?
I think the number one reason why you come to Brevard is for this coaching staff. This coaching staff is very supportive, number one. Number two, this coaching staff has coaches who coach the position that they play, which I think is very vital and intricate to our success that we have here. Because when you've played the position that you're actually coaching, I think you bring a lot of credibility to it. And then you bring a lot of skill set and know-how to it versus just a lot of fundamental teaching that you've read or you've seen on drill tape or that someone has told you, not something that you've actually experienced yourself personally. And I think that's what we have, that we're not trying to say per se thinking that everybody in the world has to do it, but it's something that we pride ourselves on here. And when it comes to signing day, the one thing about Brevard College is we're not selfish people. You know, if you want to come to school here, that's fine. If you don't want to come to school here and you're having trouble and you're on the fence or trying to make a decision to go somewhere and you want some guidance or input, we'll give it to you free of charge. It doesn't cost you anything because we have been there. We've played the game, and we're not trying to live through the players. Whereas a lot of people who are out there as coaches, they live through the players. We're not trying to live through them because we've already done it. And that's what separates us from a lot of people. And when you make a decision to come to Brevard College, you're coming to play for this school, this community, and you're coming to play for this athletic director that we have who's great. She is wonderful. You're coming to play for the president, who is absolutely wonderful and supportive as well, and then the stakeholders. So there you have it.
Very nicely said, Coach. And anyone who might be on that fence, I encourage them to go to bctornadoes.com, click on staff directory, or go to the football page and click on coaches, and then just take your time and read through the bios of the coaching staff you mentioned.
Absolutely.
And you're going to be impressed, I promised you, when you see some of these resumes, including yourself, Coach Gallen. Coach, thanks for joining the program. Really enjoyed catching up with you.
Thank
and,
you.
Best of luck through signing day. We'll see you soon.
All right, thank you.
All right, that was assistant head coach and running backs coach Eric Gallen, as signing day just around the corner and the football staff hard at work preparing for that. Coming off the best season in school history and a bowl win, all sorts of postseason accolades. As we'll shift gears now, as we're preparing for some spring sports, they are just around the corner. I mean, we are just days away, literally, from the start of women's lacrosse season, and joined now by head women's lacrosse coach Kristen Rosado. Coach, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Coach, this Saturday, and it's a little bit of an aberration, the women's lacrosse team begins play with an exhibition versus Lee's McRae at Ives Lamel Family Field. Folks, I welcome you to come on out and check out the women's lacrosse team Saturday, 1 p.m. It's a exhibition. There's also a men's basketball game later that day at 2 p.m. But the exhibition falls on also the first day of practice, official practice for the women's lacrosse team. A very unusual scheduling quirk here, but Coach, something I'm sure you've thought through quite a bit.
Yeah, so before we made the decision, I mean, the main reason behind it is because we want to be able to compete in ECAC if we qualify for it. And, you know, we sat down with our captains and kind of discussed the different options that we had. And what I didn't want to happen is us qualify and, you know, not have enough weeks, you know, still available for us to go and compete. So, you know, we made the decision to, you know, the coaches sit back a couple more weeks and let the team kind of, you know, do a lot of captains practices and team workouts right now. And they're still practicing. The lights are on right now, and they're out there, and they're, you know, they're getting better. It's just the coaching staff isn't right, you know, with them right now. And so we're excited. We're waiting for Saturday. We got a countdown going on. We're ready to get out on the field and, you know, start coaching.
Outstanding. Well, you then get 2 weeks before the actual opener. So despite this, you know, exhibition being played, a legitimate, you know, stretch of preseason practice for you before the regular season opener, a road trip to Mount Berry, Georgia versus Berry. And then the home opener, folks, if you want to mark your calendars, February 29th versus LaGrange at Ives Lamel Family Field. Coming off Saturday's exhibition, what will you be looking to accomplish between February 1st and February 15th?
Yeah, so Saturday would be great for us because, you know, we put a lot of new things in on the offensive side, things that we've never done. You know, we put a couple of, you know, the new plays and things that we want to do on the offensive side in the fall, but we haven't put, you know, the other half in yet. So the girls are learning this right now. So I think Saturday would be great to see where we're at, where everything, kind of reevaluate offense, defense, and then kind of, you know, moving forward, just fix little things. And I really think that's what it's going to be. In the fall, I think the biggest thing for us is in the fall, I think our transition was not good. So we're really, really going to work on pressure, you know, getting up and down the field, fitness, you know, that'll always be fun. So, you know, I think we have a lot of, you know, things that we're going to be able to fix quickly, but I think we have some things that over time, as we get into game fitness and all that good stuff, that'll get better and better.
You touched on the leadership and, you know, the team self-motivated in many ways and getting it done here in the off season. Can you talk a little bit specifically who those individuals are who are sort of leading the way? Yeah,
so our three captains are Makaya Vacchiano, Diana Loaiza, and Casey Collins. So they're a driving force, and I really lean on the captains. If it's a small, you know, if we're having a small discipline issue, I'll pull the captains in. Hey, you guys want to handle this for me? If there's something like this, you know, we pull them in and we really discuss with them, and we really lean on them. And so, you know, when we got back from the break, I met with Makaya. We gave them a big packet of information. Hey, do you have any questions? No. And they've really done everything. You know, I'm really grateful. I have a great team, and I have great leadership, and I don't have to worry about a lot. And I don't know if every coach can say that, but honestly, right now I'm really relaxed. I'm not, you know, freaking out and wondering what they're doing or anything like that because I know that they're getting it done on their own.
Fantastic. Well, Coach, you mentioned one player who I wanted to talk a little bit as far as what she's been doing off the field, which is Diana Loaiza. And she, along with a football student athlete, Josh Romero, just returned back to Brevard, North Carolina after several days in Anaheim, California. And folks who may not be aware, the reason Josh and Diana were in Anaheim, they were attending the NCAA convention, and that's the big convention, you know, where all the big shots are basically, you know, the athletic directors, school presidents, and so forth. And the two of them were there as part of a NCAA Division III student immersion program where they got to experience the convention firsthand, sit in on governance meetings, be hand in hand for this whole experience along with our athletic director, Miranda Nash. Can you talk a little bit about perhaps you've debriefed with Diana a little bit, and just how meaningful of an opportunity this is for her?
I haven't had an opportunity yet to sit down with her. But I was telling you earlier, I saw Josh in the grocery store yesterday and just asked him, how was it? And he was, you could tell he was super excited, and he was talking about all the thank you notes he had to go back and write. And, I think those experiences are something they'll never forget, and I hope that they really took the advice of Miranda. And, I talked a lot to Diana about getting out of your comfort zone. Go talk to people. Go meet people. Diana can be shy at times, so, pushing her to understand the importance of this opportunity. Not everyone got it. So, what was it, 40?
Yeah, these were 2 of 40 students from across the country.
So, not everyone gets this opportunity. Get out there, put yourself out there. And I'm excited to hear everything she got, the programs and everything she was able to attend. And, I really, really hope this will open a lot of doors for her in the future. And she's another reason, again, I'm super grateful for this team. I think they're great representatives of Brevard College and the women's lacrosse program and what we stand for. We want to be great people. And so with all the community service we do, with all the clubs and activities that they're involved with, there's a lot to be proud of. So I'm super, super proud of her, and, I'm excited to hear everything and how everything went.
Well, Tornado fans, if you want to learn about Josh and Diana's experience, just tune into the show this time next week, and the two of them will be on the show telling us all about it. I asked them, I said, hey, do you want to be on the show tonight or next Monday? And they said next Monday. I think they still need a little time to kind of.
I'm sure they're still overwhelmed from the experience. I mean, they were with the big people in NCAA for us, and so again, I just hope they stepped out of their comfort zone and really, got a ton out of it.
Outstanding experience, no doubt. Now, you mentioned community service, Coach, and I know you all do a ton here in Transylvania County and around the Brevard area. Can you talk about a few of those community service partners and the ones that, are special to the lacrosse team?
Yeah, absolutely. So we did a little bit different this year. We wanted to get options. We wanted to have options for the team, and then they choose where they wanted to go. So we chose Roosterhead Farms, which is a local farm right down the street. We did the Cat Cafe, which is across the street here. And the Cat Cafe, for those that don't know, their goal is to help cats be adopted.
What a name, by the way.
And the other one was the Boys and Girls Club. And so each team member had the opportunity to pick where they wanted to go. We have student athletes that want to be teachers. We have people that want to work with animals. So it was a good mix of things. And we did a ton. We kind of faded out with the Cat Cafe after a while, but Roosterhead Farm was great for us. They had puppies, so obviously puppies are a big attraction. So it was not hard to get the girls to go to Roosterhead Farms. They have puppies, and we help feed the chickens and move the chicken coops from wherever they need to be to wherever they need to be. And, just helping out local small farm. And, that is huge for them. Volunteers are what, help them maintain their farm. So we actually are going to start back up with this this Thursday, 4 to 5. We're going to be out at Roosterhead. And the plan is this spring to recognize Boys and Girls Club and to recognize Roosterhead. We do a lot for them, but also we're really grateful that they open their doors and they allow us to come in. I mean, there's 20 rowdy girls. So, it's awesome to give back, and something that's a huge part of our culture and will continue to be. And then, besides kind of the normal places we went every week, we helped out with Mountain Song Festival and a couple other things that just kind of pop up. We love just, those random opportunities to get out there and, and it also helps spread the game. People that have no idea about women's lacrosse, they ask, tell us a little bit about it. So we're having Jackie and her family out from Roosterhead one game, one halftime, and we'll celebrate them. They've probably never been to a women's lacrosse game. So again, through these experiences, I think we're also helping to, grow the game and spread it and hopefully get new people out to it every week.
Very nice. Well, Coach, I hope fans can come out if they want a real early look at the
Yeah.
team, on Saturday, 1 o'clock versus Lees McRae, and then mark your calendars, Saturday, February 29th versus LaGrange. Any final thoughts? I do want to give you this opportunity, and I gave it to Coach Gallen.
Mhm.
Recruiting, I know, is always on the mind of coaches. It's a 12-month of the year process.
Yep.
Can you address that as far as in two sides of the coin? What kind of student athlete, is a good fit
Yep.
for Brevard and who you're looking for? And also from the student athlete perspective, for the prospective student athlete, why does Brevard College women's lacrosse make sense?
Yeah, so I give my normal spiel every time I recruit. The three big things for us are academic success, athletic success, and we want to build good people. So that's the why you should come here. All those things in that order. Academic success, we have a study hall process. We have a kind of a mentoring process that we really help track and keep up with that stuff. And academics come first. That's huge for us. And then athletic success, we want to win games. And we're looking for athletes that are competitive and committed and passionate about the game. And then the last one, being good people. We do a ton of community service and give back and, a lot of player development while you're here. And we get you out of your comfort zone. You're not going to just go back to your room every day. So those are the three things I would say the why. For us and what we look for is we look for fit. Personality is really big. Attitude's really big for us. Of course, it helps if you could play lacrosse. That's always good. But then we also look on the academic side of things. If you don't have the academics, I won't say we're going to look away, but we are really pushing for the full package. Great people, academically driven, and that want to play lacrosse.
Sounds great, Coach. Well, appreciate you communicating that. If you just want to hang with me, we'll wrap up tonight's edition of Tornado Talk. Want to thank all of our guests, heads men's basketball coach Lee Burgess, men's basketball student athletes Gaddafi Turner and Messiah Pankey, head women's basketball coach Donald Hudson, women's basketball student athletes Krista Davis and Avery Lockwood, football assistant head coach Eric Gallen, and to my left, head women's lacrosse coach Kristen Rosano. Want to thank our sponsors, Arby's, Jets Pizza, Holiday Inn Express, Hampton Inn, Ingalls, Mission Sports Medicine, Comporium Pepsi, and the home of Tornado Talk, Dugan's Pub. There's action tomorrow. That's Tuesday night at the Boshemer Gymnasium. A women's-men's doubleheader starts at 5:30 p.m. It's also the Blackout for Black Mamba promotion along with Special Olympics night. This Saturday, women's lacrosse exhibition versus Lees McRae at 1 p.m. And then check out the men's basketball team as they take on William Peace at the Boshemer Gymnasium. A couple other dates if you just want to mark your calendars. Baseball, their home openers, February 21st, 2 p.m. versus Piedmont. Softball, home opener and exhibition on February the 8th, starts at 6 p.m. And then the regular season opener is February 12th at 1 p.m. Men's tennis, February 8th, 2 p.m. They get started this spring. Women's tennis, Tuesday, February 11th at 3 p.m. is their opener. And then also track and field, road cycling, and climbing are getting going in the next month or so. Check out bctornadoes.com for all those details. And be sure to follow the Tornadoes on social media, Twitter and Instagram at bctornadoes. And also subscribe to Brevard College Tornadoes on YouTube, SoundCloud, like them on Facebook, and even check out Flickr where you can follow Brevard College, all one word, for all the latest photos from all Brevard College events. Want to thank those behind the scenes who made tonight's show possible, Joseph Marvin and Destiny Williams. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you at a Brevard College athletics event hopefully sometime soon. Go Tornadoes.